Faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books worldwide.
Hi there, this is Sally from Sally Talks Books.
So today I'm introducing you to this book, the Stanford Business Decision Course. Oh, philosopher Albert Camus said that life is all about choices. Small ones like what to have for lunch or do after work, to big ones like picking a career or marrying someone. Well, all these decisions, big and small, shape our lives. Decisions are crucial, yet making a good one is tough, especially with this fast-paced world full of unknowns. And on the flip side, our natural biases and thinking patterns often get in the way of good decisions. Like, we tend to be swayed by authority figures and rush to simple conclusions. And after making a bad call, we scramble to justify why we were right. Oh, decision skills aren't born with us, and not many get formal training, so making good decisions is a rare skill. So, the Stanford Business Decision Course gives us tools and methods for better decisions.
It's not only for big bosses to boost leadership, it helps regular folks make smart choices in daily life and work.
Hmm. The three authors, Carl Spetzler, Hannah Winter, and Jennifer Meyer, are top U.S. experts in business decisions. With 40 years in decision theory and behavioral science, they've built a system used by Fortune 500 companies for training. Plus, this book is Stanford's official text for their certification program. All right, I'll break it down for you in three parts. So, the book's core is all about quality decisions. What are the key elements? Next up, what biases block good decisions and how to beat them? And third, how to apply this theory in real life for solid decisions. First off, what exactly is a quality decision and what's in it? A quality decision is picking the top choice in your current spot. To make a good call, we've got to dissect what makes up a decision.
The authors say every decision has 6 parts. Nail each one well, and you've got a quality decision.
So, these 6 elements are the right frame, creative options, relevant and reliable info, clear values and trade-offs, thorough reasoning, and taking action. First up, the right frame, meaning what problem we're actually facing. Without the right frame, a simple problem can blow up beyond control. The book gives this example. A couple wants to renovate their home. The husband suggests repainting and laying new carpet. The wife thinks they should remodel the kitchen and game room. After discussing, they decide the bedrooms need redoing too. Seems like the whole house needs work.
As ideas multiply, so does the cost.
They end up thinking they might as well move to a house that doesn't need renovations. Then they start debating where the new house should be. The wife adds that if neither worked, location wouldn't matter at all. So the conversation spirals from simple renovations to how to spend their entire lives. This shows we need the right frame before deciding to pin down the actual problem. So how do we set the decision frame? The authors offer a tool, decision hierarchy, categorizing decisions to narrow scope and find focus. Decisions fall into 3 types. First, already made decisions. They're givens, not up for debate. Second category, emphasized, decisions needing attention, what we must tackle now. Third, decisions for later or separate consideration. We focus our energy on that second type. Back to the renovation couple. They determined they won't leave their area for 5 to 10 years, but they want better living conditions. Crunching numbers, they found their finances allow either renovating or moving. Type 1 decisions. This clarified their core problem: renovate or move. Long-term questions like life plans or renovation details became type 3 for later. The second element of a good decision is creative options. So, with the decision frame set, the next step is to find a set of creative, high-quality alternatives. Well, this set should cover all possible options as much as possible, and decision makers should seek unconventional, creative choices, like seemingly radical company strategies or marketing tactics different from the past.
But the number of options shouldn't be too high. 3 to 4 for simple decisions, 4 to 7 for complex ones.
Also, these options must be solid, competitive, and distinctly different. Oh, the book gives an example. The Strategic Decisions Group considered moving with 3 options. First, stay put. If the location is nice, Clients like it, but the building needs renovation and rent is skyrocketing. Second option, move to downtown Palo Alto nearby, super trendy and appealing to young staff. Third option, pick a new office building under construction north of the current spot. It's cheaper and close to the highway, but the space is smaller and less upscale. So these three meet the criteria: distinct differences and all solid choices. All right, how do we find such a set of creative quality options? It can be split into two phases: expand and narrow down. Expanding means brainstorming as many good ideas as possible quickly. Ask yourself questions like, is there a better option out there? Does this set cover every possibility? For group decisions, discuss with others or even do team brainstorming. When thinking, focus on conflicting views and think outside the box. This phase generates many viable options. Then trim down to a short list of top picks that represent different paths. The third element of good decision-making is relevant and reliable information. Good decisions rely on quality info, meaning it's relevant to the call and dependable. Relevant info helps predict outcomes and odds for each option. For instance, when eyeing a new business chance, decision makers need info to gauge its potential value. Well, decision makers should consider relevant info about future costs and benefits, like material and equipment costs, market growth rates, and market share for new ventures. Dive. Reliable info means it's accurate and objective, like what we get from trusted experts. Now, there's no universal formula for using this info to estimate probabilities, but the more relevant and reliable data we have, the better our predictions. And even with a probability number, it doesn't make our judgment completely objective. The authors note that judgment is inherently subjective. Numbers just help express our thinking clearly. The fourth element of good decisions is clear values and trade-offs. Simply put, when deciding, we need to know what we truly want and what matters most. Especially when multiple things feel important, how do we weigh and choose? Yeah, that's the challenge. Like when job hunting, do you care most about salary, hours, work environment, or company growth? But trading off values isn't easy. We usually want it all and get stuck overthinking. So the authors offer a method called equivalent exchange. When torn about changing jobs, ask what pay increase would justify extra hours. If the extra hours don't match the pay bump, don't switch. You've found your value threshold. Now, with quality options identified, how do we pick the best one? That leads to the fifth element: thorough reasoning. Using objective calculations to see which option achieves our goals, not just gut feelings. The book introduces decision trees. They map each option's value and probability to calculate expected value. This expected value is actually a probability-weighted average, not a real expectation. For example, an option might add $100,000 yearly income with a 20% probability. So the expected value for this option would be 100,000 times 0.2 equaling 20,000. Let's explain decision trees with a concrete example. Jolie is a mid-level manager who just got a job offer from a startup. Among all factors in job hopping, salary matters most to him. He currently makes 500,000 yuan annually, but sees limited raises ahead. The startup's offer is lower at 350,000 since it's just beginning. But if successful, he could make 600,000 in year 2, more than his current pay. However, startups are risky. If it fails, he might be jobless in a year with uncertain reemployment prospects. Should he jump ship? It's a tough choice. So Xiaoli mapped a 5-year decision tree. We've included this decision tree in the show notes below for reference. Or this decision tree has 3 branches representing the options. Option 1. Stay put at 500,000 yuan annually. Total value over 5 years is 2.5 million yuan, guaranteed. So its expected value is 2.5 million. Option 2. Jump and the startup succeeds. Total value 350,000, year 1, plus 2.4 million. 4 years at 600,000 equals 2.75 million.
After consulting startup execs and VC experts, Xiaoli estimates 50% success probability.
So option 2's expected value is 2.75 million, times 50% equals 1.35 million. Option 3, jumping with 50% failure probability.
Assuming reemployment at 400,000 yuan average, the failure expected value is 975,000 yuan.
Adding options 2 and 3 gives the total expected value for jumping 2.35 million, less than staying. This simple decision tree model clarifies options, possibilities, and helps compare alternatives. At first glance, Xiaoli's new job seems promising, offering a chance to earn more than now. But after thorough analysis, the value of this new job isn't as high as imagined. Oh, reality is often way more complex than this. There are far more factors to consider. For instance, since talent like Xiaoli is scarce, if the startup fails, there's a chance he could return to his old job with the same salary. So we need to add branch options to option 3 and recalculate the expected value of startup fail. I think that this may be recalculated, but that would be fair to say. Moreover, the value of options can include income and economic returns, but also intangible things like ethics, personal interests, and growth opportunities. People might actually prioritize these things when changing jobs. Well, we can use other methods to calculate expected value, like scoring career growth, prospects, and company benefits based on satisfaction for a comprehensive evaluation. The first 5 elements of quality decisions, frame, options, value, info, reasoning, are now done. Next, we can start taking action. This is the final element, implementation. Only when we act is the decision truly complete. At this stage, we've wrapped up discussing the best options and need to shift focus to execution. In the past, we might have focused on long-term development and possibility analysis, but now we consciously zoom in on execution details like personnel scheduling, procurement budgets, and completion metrics. So, to recap clearly, 6 elements of quality decisions are frame, options, information, value, reasoning, and action. Just knowing what a quality decision is doesn't mean we can make good ones, because in practice we're often tripped up by mental traps and cognitive biases. That's our second topic. Which cognitive biases block us from making good decisions, and how should we tackle them? The book highlights 5 major decision biases: narrow framing, illusion of quality decisions, consistency trap, comfort zone bias, and proposal approval myth. First, narrow framing bias. When setting the decision frame, we rush to solve the problem without deeply considering outcomes, making the frame too narrow. Narrow framing bias arises mainly because the human brain struggles with highly complex matters. So we always simplify complex problems to make the world easier to understand. But if we start solving the wrong problem from the beginning, achieving a quality decision is clearly impossible. For example, a company's profits began declining, and management rushed to blame it on production capacity failing to meet product demand. So they took steps to increase capacity, but still didn't fix the profit drop. During a review, management re-examined the initial decision and realized they'd oversimplified the issue. The real problem was that 1/3 of the company's high-capacity consuming products were unprofitable. Blindly expanding capacity would actually lower profit margins further. So the core decision should be how to price products and whether to cut unprofitable ones to optimize the capacity structure. So the second major decision bias is the illusion of quality decisions. Simply put, feeling overly confident. The book cites an example from the Decision Education Foundation. This organization focuses on teams and educators. During decision skills training, they found participants often overestimate their decision quality. Before training started, DF mentors gave participants a simulated decision scenario, asking them to rate their decision quality on a 0 to 100% scale.
Higher scores mean better decisions. Most rated themselves between 70% and 90%.
Then mentors explained quality decision theory and its 6 elements and asked for a re-rating.
As a result, participants found their actual scores were typically only 25%. That is, our actual decision quality is much lower than we imagine. The third major decision bias is the consistency trap, a type of group decision bias. We often say 3 ordinary minds combined can match a genius like Zhu Liang, but group decisions, even unanimous ones, aren't necessarily good. For example, in a 3-person decision group, if one knows the other 2 will oppose a proposal, the third might ignore supporting information to align with the group, assuming others have valid reasons. But actually, the first 2 people might have gathered very limited info, leading to arbitrary decisions. The fourth major decision bias is comfort zone bias, dragging problems into our comfort zone to solve what we know, not what's truly needed. And, for example, a company is crafting a marketing strategy for a new computer printer about to launch. Product managers naturally focus on boosting printer sales. It's their comfort zone, but actually, the bigger revenue source for this company is consumables, like ongoing ink cartridge sales.
So product managers should focus more on consumables, market info, and marketing strategies.
The fifth major bias we'll cover is the proposal approval myth, often seen in group decisions. Group decisions typically involve someone or a team assigned to study the problem and find solutions. Then a decision maker approves or rejects it. This easily causes 2 issues. First, the proposal myth. Solution providers fiercely defend their ideas without offering better options. This leads to the second issue, approval myth. Decision makers can't improve quality even with careful evaluation, because they can only question handed decisions and say yes or no, not examine options or the process quality. So, how do we tackle these cognitive biases? The authors offer 3 tips. First, remind yourself not to rush. Ask if you framed it right. Second, build new thinking habits. Challenge past beliefs and practice using the 6 elements to test decisions. Third, form decision groups with diverse skills, personalities, and viewpoints. That covers decision biases and countermeasures. Next, let's discuss applying quality decision theory in practice to boost decision skills. The author presents a method called the quality decision review cycle. Well, this cycle aims to pinpoint and improve weak spots by repeatedly applying the quality decision steps. So, the quality decision review cycle has 5 steps. Step 1, form a preliminary frame for the problem. Step 2, do an initial review of the 6 elements of quality decisions. Step 3, evaluate the current state of each quality decision element. Step 4, improve the most vulnerable part. Then repeat the process. Step 5, once all elements hit 100%, make the decision. Now we'll illustrate this with an example. Meet Robin. He's a course supervisor in an education department at a state university. He loves his job, but restructuring means his position ends in 6 months. He's confident he can find another role at the university. But then, a friend suggests a new role, deputy director at a startup consortium. If he lands it, he'll collaborate with influential execs, engineers, and scientists. But he'd have to leave his beloved university life and relationships built over years. Facing this change, Robin uses the quality decision review cycle. First step, set a preliminary frame. He frames it as, what's the best job for me over the next 3 years?
Next, he tackles step 2, reviewing each quality decision element.
He sees 2 clear options. Option 1, stick with his current job.
And look for another university role within 6 months. Option 2, take the consortium deputy director job. With only days to decide, new options won't emerge, so these 2 are his full set. Then he thinks about what matters most to him. He identifies job flexibility, learning opportunities, growth potential, and impact. How all these values are met will shape the expected value of each option.
Next up, Robin builds a decision tree to assign expected values to each option.
He rates each option 0 to 100 on flexibility, growth, opportunities, and influence. In the end, Robin calculates the expected values and sees the consortium job scores higher than staying at the university. This is Robin entering step 3 of the quality decision review cycle, assessing each element's current quality. Robin realized He hadn't deeply considered possible outcomes for either choice. And he didn't have enough information yet. Like, he hadn't evaluated if he could actually find another university job, nor researched the new company properly. Next came step 4 of the quality decision review cycle. Step 4, strengthen the weak spots, then recheck all 6 elements.
So he started by checking university colleagues and job postings, but found no new openings.
Thus, Robin didn't add new branches to his decision tree. For the consortium job, he dug into background info on directors and board members. No red flags, but they were all nearing retirement. This revealed he'd likely be the youngest and least experienced. A disadvantage, so he lowered the probability of liking the consortium role and raised the misfit chance. Ultimately, the consortium job's expected value fell below the university's. Robin got help from his neighbor Sam, a decision expert. Sam reminded him, if the values and probabilities don't feel 100% right, our minds resist deciding. He suggested Robin revisit the numbers the next day. Sure enough, reviewing them later, Robin saw his bias, overly worried about being the youngest, so he adjusted, slightly raised the consortium fit probability, and lowered the misfit chance. With that, the consortium job's expected value again exceeded the university's. Finally, Robin accepted the consortium job, a decision that felt right after rigorous thought. Once decided, he immediately shifted from thinking to action. He made a checklist for his first meeting with the new boss and planned how to organize work to maximize his skills. He also developed an exit strategy from the university, aiming to leave gracefully without burning bridges or damaging important relationships. Robin's story shows how applying the quality decision review cycle leads to solid choices. All right, that wraps up our coverage of the Stanford Business Decision Course. We aren't born great decision makers, but we can always improve our decisions. Quality decision theory gives us exactly that toolkit. Start practicing with simpler decisions, then gradually apply the quality decision review cycle to major life choices. Life's turning points often hide in choices. While we can't predict the future, quality decisions give us better odds at living the life we want. Well, that's our take on the Stanford Business Decision Course. Show notes are below. Catch you next time.